Hello and welcome in, everybody, to episode 5. And yes, I mean episode 5 this time with Beer, Bourbon, and Baseball. I'm your host, Mike Curlin. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike_Curlin. More importantly, to my right, or your, I don't know what it is anymore. This camera thing messes me up. I have my typical co-host, Mike Simeone, aka SP Streamer. You can follow him on Twitter, SP Streamer. And of course, we are joined by the great Alex Fast, associate producer at MLB, VP of Pitcher List, FSWA award winner for the Research Article of the Year, and most importantly, above all, an O's fan. How you do that? I don't know how you do that. So it's actually the most accomplished thing on your little bio.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Welcome to the show, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us. And how's everything going?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's I'm happy to be here, and yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head. And I'm if we're gonna talk about bourbon, we should at least talk about the Orioles, right? Because no team drives me to drink more than that team. So
I mean, the Mets are kind of close.
Now, at least you've tasted success. Remember, it was the Royals that swept us to. I don't know if they swept us to get to you. I think that was the year they lost to the Giants, but. Yeah, we're not doing very good in the playoffs in the last couple tries.
And speaking of drinking, what are you drinking tonight, Alex?
I pulled out the big stops today. I'm finishing off this first bottle of Blanton's tonight. So I poured myself some Blanton's, and then I don't know, maybe I'll pop into some other stuff later. But yeah, I'm gonna start with this Blanton's. What about you guys? What are you drinking?
Mike, where you at?
I'll go. I'm going with some scotch tonight with a little Glenfiddich.
Ooh, a little Glenfiddich.
15-year. It's pretty good. I actually like it a lot.
Yeah, no shit, it's pretty good. It's a 15-year Glenfiddich. It's pretty good.
That's usually how it works.
I'm feeling like a 9.4 out of 12 scale.
Okay.
Yeah. He's very, very tough on the ranks. I'm just drinking some more of this. I'm not a big drinker. I'm just
What is that?
So to fix that, to make sure I become a big drinker, I started a show that is revolving around drinking, and I'm just doing some more or less of the same beer. So of course, the usual is what we're gonna do.
Obviously, you didn't tell us what it is.
Yeah, what is it?
Cheers. It's Florida. Is this Florida? Is this one Florida Man or Florida Cracker? This is Florida Cracker.
Oh, it's Cigar City. Cigar City.
Cigar City.
Yeah, I love Cigar City.
Yeah, I bought a 4-pack sample, like different beers, 12 total beers. And I'm still finishing off that 12-pack because I don't drink more than the 3 I do tonight. And
can I just say Mike's comment is amazing?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, are you like did you play like Beat Saber all day today or something? Like, did you like Twitch stream Fortnite for 17 hours? Like, what's going on there?
I considered it. Okay, so I had this one. This is the one that shows up. But
now we're gonna have to go through his backgrounds. It's just gonna delay everything.
Oh yeah. But hold on, this is the one I usually have up. It's the Moon Man drinking a beer on the moon.
You came in.
Yeah. Oh, I can kind of make it out. Yeah, I can kind of make it out.
And that's just
cool and awesome. So we're gonna have this all night because I can't hear you guys now. I quit, man.
Great. It's just you need to not change the background of your screen.
I can't hear a single thing.
Yeah, you can't go to a rave in the middle of the podcast,
Literally.
And then
oh my god,
you still can't hear us.
Oh man,
great.
I thought you're supposed to drink
when it's live.
You're supposed to drink at the end of the podcast as opposed to the very beginning.
All right. I mean, should we? I guess
I'm back. I'm here.
No, you can't hear us still. All right. Maybe we should just move on with Adam.
Yeah, kick him out.
I actually can't.
Can you hear us? Oh, okay, good. He's gonna come back in.
He'll come back in when he wants. All right. So you know what? Let's just start off with we're gonna start with this game that we play called Shot in the Dark. I don't know if you know anything about it, Alex, but we basically give clues, and we start off like with really hard clues. It gets easier, and you have to try and guess it before someone in the audience does. Typically, if you don't guess it before them or don't guess it at all, then you have to take a shot.
I'm about to drink a lot because I'm so bad at this. So I'm about.
It's only at the end though. Only if you don't get it.
Okay. I'm not gonna get it. Don't you worry. All right. I'll do my best. All
right. Usually Mike has one too, but so usually Mike does pitchers. I do hitters. So just so you know, it's going to be a hitter. Okay. All right. So the first clue. So you get one guess per clue, as well as everyone else who's watching. So first clue. He had the highest xWOBA against fastballs up in the zone.
Ronald Acuna.
No. I was gonna say I feel like you weirdly would guess this. Okay. All right. Next one. He had the 20th best O swing percentage in 2019.
Trout?
Mm-mm. All right, so let's reiterate. He had the highest XWOW against fastballs up in the zone. He had the 20th best O swing in 2019. He was drafted by the Cubs.
Drafted by the Cubs.
This is like, it's hard. It'll get easier though.
Oh, no. Drafted by the Cubs. Okay. So, but I doubt he's still with the Cubs. Oh God. I really don't think it. No, he was drafted by the Padres. Let's say Kyle Schwarber.
No.
Yeah, there's no chance. The O swing alone, he's got like the 20th lowest O swing probably.
All right, let's see if these give away. He plays third base.
Plays Chris Bryant.
Nope. All right, you're on your last clue. All right,
Okay,
let's go. All right, so he had the highest XWOW against fastballs up in the zone. He had the 20th best O swing in 2019. He was drafted by the Cubs, plays third base, and he's on a new team this year.
Anthony Rendon.
No.
Oh my God. Who is it?
Jeez, it is Josh Donaldson.
Josh Donaldson. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, Rendon wasn't drafted by the Cubs. Okay.
You could just take a big sip if you want.
Yeah, there's considering the markup I paid on this whiskey, there's no way I'm taking a shot.
No, I like purposely hold for this game, although I'm the only one who's gotten one so far, but I purposely have like a little tequila on the side in case.
Should I try and do you want me to try and pull one up for you to try and quiz you?
Yeah, go for it if you think you do it quick enough.
Yeah,
you gotta go like hard to easy though.
Hard to easy.
Like you gotta make it so like it's actually somewhat guessable, you know.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think I can get one.
In the meantime, I feel like maybe I should message Curlin and see if he's alive or you know.
This is going to be tough to do, but I think I can do it on the fly. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. We're going to do a pitcher. Okay.
Yeah.
So we start tough, right?
Yeah.
We start tough. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Okay. We got it. He was 96th percentile in exit velocity and 95th percentile in hard hit rate.
I don't want to try and go with someone obvious here. Adrian Hauser?
No.
Okay.
He is in the top 10 of CSW performers.
Is it Woodruff?
No. Okay, let me get some more. Okay. His best pitch by batting average against and expected batting average is a slider.
I just feel like it's too hot. Corbin?
No. What he lacks in fastball velocity, he makes up for in curve spin rate.
So he throws a curveball too. I don't even know if he does. Musgrove?
No.
Does Musgrove throw a curve?
I think so, yeah.
I can't think of
no, I think he throws a slider. I don't think he throws a curve. Okay. We'll get two easier ones because those are all been pretty. I don't think I went easy at all. Okay. He is a foreign-born player.
Oh god, I don't even know. So weak contact, good slider, bad curveball. Foreign. See, the problem is I don't know who's born here and who's not. That's where I'm getting caught up here. I mean, Soroka? No, that's stupid. I would just go with it anyway.
Okay, no, it's not Soroka.
Yeah, because he wouldn't have a high CSW.
And I think he was born in America.
Oh yeah, that was really dumb too.
Okay, so we've done. Okay, so let's go through top 10 in CSW. Hey, he returns.
We started the game without you, dude.
Oh, no, I was watching on the stream while setting up on my backup situation. Dude, Alex, it wouldn't be a live stream without me if this didn't happen.
I like it. It's very much like the Eric Andre show, but just in baseball podcast form.
So I don't know where you're at in the game, but I feel the need to chug my beer anyway for the whole lack of professionalism.
Alex did not get mine. So.
I did not get his, and he is on the last clue of mine, and I think it might give it away, but I'm going to do a recap of the clues so far. So we had 96 percentile in exit velo and hard hit. What he lacks in fastball velocity, he makes up for in curve spin. His best pitch by expected batting average and batting average is his slider. He is foreign born, and keeping with the theme, he is on a new team this year.
Maeda?
There you go.
Yes.
Well, no, now I'm gonna go ahead, and since I ruined the game, I'm gonna give you my guesses, but only you're gonna guess. If somebody guesses them, I'm gonna make you drink, Mike. You're gonna drink.
I just did one that.
Perfect.
All right, go do yours.
Okay, of all pitches thrown at least 500 times in 2019, this pitcher had the pitch with the 7th best K- walk rate. A minimum of 500 pitches thrown, his pitch produced the 7th best K- walk rate. I know you guys will enjoy this. It's a pitcher one, so don't give me that like.
So obviously it's a really good pitch.
Well, no kidding.
But he had one pitch who did it, right? It wasn't
just
he had one pitch.
Just the one. Well, that's the only pitch I saw that was that high on K- walk rate. But his individual pitch was the 7th best. Produced the 7th best K- walk rate.
Brandon Woodruff.
7th. No.
Junis.
No. What?
Trying to go
500.
I like it. Yeah, get
Fine.
out.
I'll give you a random. I'll give you a 6th clue, an extra clue of the fact that he is a starter, not a reliever.
Okay.
I guess Junis is kind of both. His slider had a p-val of I didn't write it down.
You're a mess,
God.
But it had fine. The slider had a swinging strike rate of 18.3%.
Slider.
I'll give you the p-val.
Slider had a swinging strike rate of 18.
Oh man, what a day! I've had such a day.
18.3%.
Yeah, of the slider his slider had a
good, but it's not like ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not fantastic, but it's
not
really
like
good.
Corbin.
But let's see what the p-val. But that's the pitch that produced that. No, it wasn't the pitch that produced.
Why don't you guess first? Why don't you go ahead and guess first?
So I'm assuming that same slider is high in the high K walk.
No, it wasn't. I don't know why I picked the slider. Just to throw you off. It actually had the best swinging strike rate. It actually had a higher swinging strike rate than the pitch that produced the K- walk. I think that's why it intrigued me, but I definitely worded it terribly. All right, well, we'll move on.
I mean,
go ahead.
Okay. I was going to shoot my shot and say Musgrove.
Well, no, but I was going to give you a little more. He has a 6-pitch repertoire, 4 pitches he really relies on, if that helps at all. It's kind of an extra little.
6. Well, did you use your guess yet?
Yeah, go.
So what are the clues that we have so far? It's a slider.
I was giving you an extra clue because I screwed up the whole slider discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, of all pitches thrown 500 times in 2019, this pitcher had the pitch with the 7th best K- walk rate. His slider had a p-val of I didn't write it down, and had a 18.3 swinging strike rate. And then I mentioned the fact that he has a 6-pitch repertoire, and he actually utilizes 4 of them. I think he threw 4 of them. I think like at least 4 of those pitches like over 300 times or something like that.
Faulty?
No. But don't worry, it gets really easy.
Okay.
The last 3 get really easy.
All right.
Okay. We'll just go right to this one. He pitched the 3rd most innings in 2019, but only had 11 wins. Oh yeah, this one's throwing you off. I know that the 3rd most innings of all pitchers in 2019, only 11 wins.
11 wins.
Not Erod, is it?
No.
Oh no, he had a ton, didn't he?
Yeah, he's the one who had like 20, and it made no sense.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't do it. So we got slider. Let's.
The slider wasn't what produced the good K- walk rate. I just randomly threw the slider in there. just so we're clear. Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to throw Mike off, and I really threw myself off, obviously.
Let's stay with Atlanta and say Max Fried.
No, but I really wish I picked him. This player was traded mid-season last year from the AL to the NL.
No.
Go ahead.
Is it Bauer?
It is Bauer.
It was Bauer.
And the last hint was going to be this player hates Alex Bregman. It doesn't get much easier. That was the last hint. It doesn't get much easier than that. I told you I was going to give it away. So, okay.
Look at that. I got 2 right tonight.
Well, yeah, after I screwed up the whole start of the show. So let's transition to what people want to hear about. But before we actually get into fantasy baseball talk, you guys over there at Pitcherless kind of started a movement, so to speak. It's actually quite awesome. And you guys have like mentors and mentees. And Mike and I have been lucky enough to be brought on as said mentors. And please elaborate on that, Alex, what you're doing, what the goal is.
Yeah, so we started up, you could take a screenshot of what we're doing right now and figure out what some of the issues in the fantasy baseball industry right now are, right? It's predominantly run by white men, which is totally
I'm half
fine.
Cuban, if that counts for anything.
There you go. Sure. Yeah,
I really am.
I was not going to sit here and say you're a liar about being half Cuban. Yeah, so we started. It's not really us; it's really the entire community is trying to do whatever we can to make it. We are a very inclusive space, right? We talk about that all the time, and I think you guys have experienced that. I've certainly experienced that, but we've been sort of passive in our inclusivity, right? That's my dog. We've been kind of passive in our inclusivity in terms of like, yeah, anyone's welcome to join. Come, we'll tell you about it. Yeah. And I think maybe we could do a better job about being like more active in our inclusivity, right? And a lot of people have seen this message and they think, why are we trying to get, underrepresented voices or women into the sport if they don't want anything to do with it? And it's nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with forcing anyone into the fantasy community, right? Why would I want to force anyone to watch the Orioles? It's cruel and unusual punishment.
I'm a Marlins fan. So.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you want to force anyone to watch the Marlins or the Mets for that reason?
I mean, yeah.
Exactly, right? So it's not about that. It's about saying, hey, what can we do to make this space available to other people? And one of the ways that we're trying to do that is with a mentorship program that, thank you guys for being a part of. It's great. So if you guys know anyone, any underrepresented voices in the industry or any underrepresented people or women who are thinking, hey, maybe I'm a little bit interested, I don't really know where to begin. This program pairs you with someone who's a leader in the fantasy baseball industry, really willing to sit down, answer questions for you, give you feedback on your articles, provide some perspective on how they got to where they are. And it's just one small thing, right? It's one small thing. This is not going to end racism in our community. Not that there is much, but this isn't going to end racism, period. This is just a small thing that we can do to be active in this time. So if you're interested, there's a post up on Pitcherless right now under the extras tab called Mentorship Program. Come check it out. After the first post about getting 50 mentors, we're up to about 80 right now, which is wild.
Oh, wow.
Like totally wild, which is great. So I got to pair 30 more people. But yeah, so thanks you guys for being a part of it and letting me talk about it. I'm super excited and super excited to see what it brings, see what happens with it. I think there's a lot of good that can happen from it.
No, you're 100% correct. I think it's actually really awesome what you guys are trying to do and actually are doing, obviously, is pretty successfully at this point. I got to transition to this. It just crossed my mind. You were on ESPN twice now, I believe, right?
Yeah.
How the hell was that experience? Because we all grew up watching ESPN. We all know it to be what it is. Although it's not what it used to be in a lot of our minds, it's still an amazing achievement. And that's awesome, dude. Like, congrats. And
yeah,
is it still surreal?
Did you record it?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. 100% recorded it.
Sure.
One of the guys at Pitcherless recorded it. This dude, Eli Sussman, who's one of our marketing guys, he's fantastic. He recorded it for me. Yeah, man, it was super surreal. Like, it was super surreal. Like, we were fortunate enough to interview John, or Boog Shambi for the Pitcherless podcast, and then we would like DM back and forth, and then just one day out of the blue, got a text from him that was like, "Hey, man, you want to be on ESPN on Thursday?" And I was like, I was at like a dog. Dude, it's seriously. Yeah, I was at like a dog park in Florida with my wife, like an isolated little dog park, and I like almost had to use a doggy bag on myself. Like I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And then, I'm like you guys, right? I'm just a super, super anxious preparer. So like, you got to be up at 5 a.m. Yeah. And so like I the whole night beforehand, just taking as many notes as possible. And then it happened and, it just kind of flew by. And luckily all that sort of like acting training kind of helped me like stay focused and kind of breathe a little bit and figure out what was going on and try and have a little bit of banter. And then when they were like, "Hey, do you want to come back?" I was like, they text the wrong person. Like they just like they either that or everyone else canceled. Like every single other person canceled. And I'll never get over it, man. I mean, like, I'm like you guys, I'm someone who's sitting in my little apartment, my little modest little apartment, and to see like, it was like Buster Posey, like Josh Lindblom, like Cespedes Family Barbecue, Alex Fast. Like what? Like what? Why? What do you mean? It doesn't make any sense.
That's amazing.
It was
that
crazy.
is awesome, and seeing you do that was like, I know that guy. I've talked to that guy. I met that guy before. I met him. I know him. And
I turned on ESPN for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's all it was. But I just saw this. We call him Doctor here on this show. DeGrom left his first start after one inning with back tightness.
Right.
I'm going to call it precautionary. I'm going to be optimistic here and call it precautionary.
Well, what's the Mets fan thinking?
I mean, we think worse. It's the end of the season for him. I'm hoping it's what Mike's saying. I mean, we got to obviously just see what the word is, but
we've been super lucky so far in this ramp. I mean, as lucky as we could be. Obviously, we're in the middle of a global pandemic. We've been lucky in terms of player injury, and I mean that in a good way, right? Like, I'm definitely a little bit reticent to talk about like, oh, this guy's got COVID, so who's the next man up? Like, that always feels gross. But we've been fortunate in that we haven't had to be like, oh, they're, except for Byron Buxton, right? He was the first one where we were like, man, that sucks. I was really worried because when the KBO started ramping up again, they said it's all lower body injuries, all hamstring, all lower half. And we haven't really seen any pitchers who've been injured ramping up. Obviously this is a wait and see with DeGrom. I imagine it's fully precautionary, but hopefully we don't start to see this strain of injuries happening in the coming weeks. I think a lot of these pitchers have stayed pretty warm from the ones that we've talked to. They're all throwing in their backyard. They all have catchers they live down the street from. I imagine it's precautionary, but here's hoping we don't hear about any more of this stuff moving forward.
No, 100%. Oh, and perfect. Right on cue. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, there we go.
Precautionary, they're saying.
Yeah.
They're we're 9 days away from opening day. Wow, mind blowing. I'm at the point where like prepping is I give up. Like, this is crazy. And then there's so much going on, and you're recycling information. You're going on other podcasts, just talking about the same stuff over. Look, my hair is going crazy. Thinking like it is what it is, man. And but it's crazy. But honestly, it's nice that we have new ADP data. We're kind of jumping right into it. And I pulled it up on NFBC. Mm-hmm. We're looking at just July, which is a very small sample, only about 34 drafts, I believe. But that is enough. That's like the most pertinent data we have right now. Like I look for bigger sample sizes, but it's just we don't have it. This is it. This is the draft's going on, and I think the first thing I want to talk about is pitchers inside the top 10 in ADP, which Garrett Cole in order from 1 through 10. Garrett Cole, DeGrom, Walker Buehler, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Clevenger, Flaherty, Bieber, Strasburg, Kershaw. Those are the top 10 right now in ADP. Of which of those top 10 would you say, Alex, would probably finish outside the top 25 if you had to guess?
Would finish outside the top 25. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Okay. That's very interesting.
I wanted to go the other way because people always say, well, who can finish inside the top 10? I want to be like, well, who do you think could be the biggest bust of them, so to speak?
Yeah, it's a great question. I also see, by the way, that Carmen, I believe it's Majorano. I apologize if I butchered that. It said, it gave me a shout out, and that's very nice of you. So I'm very excited. You have a very, very long email from me. I apologize for it. But to answer your question, this might be a little bit crazy. Okay. But someone's got to fall out of here. And I think it could be Jack Flaherty. So is it really your pick as well?
That's my pick as well.
I love it. So good. We can go back and forth about why we think it's him. I mean, currently number 7 at ADP, as you said. So there's a few reasons, right? And let's start with where we are right now with this kind of crazy time. He threw 43 pitches yesterday. That means he theoretically has time for 1 or 2 more appearances before the season starts, which means he's not going to be throwing 100 pitches for a little while, right? He's probably going to be a guy who makes a 3-inning start or a 4-inning start, then maybe a 4-inning, 5-inning start, and then he gets loosened up and can throw some full games. We've obviously seen the immense upside that can come with Jack Flaherty. There's absolutely no question about that, and I don't argue with that, right? But we've also seen the downside, and the conversations that I've had about him in the past are focused around the middle ground. He's not as poor as he was in the first half. He's not as elite as he was in the second half. What's the middle ground going to be? Without a full season for him to level out, you're really going to put a lot of eggs in, what can be a pretty volatile basket. the core issue I have with Jack Flaherty is always going to center around that fastball. I have no problems with the slider. It's a top 10 slider in baseball. 31st percentile in spin rate, out of the top 500 in spin efficiency, outside of the top 200 in power units. It's not a rising fastball, which we equate with better swing rates and is going to set up that slider a little bit more. It's a little bit flatter than that. It's clearly not the end-all, be-all, but when you're essentially a two-pitch pitcher, right? He has no other pitch. He throws over 15% of the time. That fastball is going to be really important for sustained success. I'd be curious to see if he makes a tweak with his curveball usage, but when you look at a guy who's got historically low BABIPs like he does, relying on a defense like that for a 60-game season makes me really scared. All it takes is 4 poor games, like we saw in his first half, and bam, he's out of the top 25.
And Mike, you agree with that? Huh?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Alex took every single point there.
Perfect. No, perfect. That's the point of this.
But I mean, overall, all Cardinals pitchers, I mean, they're just behind. All of them are, I think around that 40 pitch mark right now, and it's just all of them. I feel like you should be fading in your drafts because compared to everybody else, they're just not. They're not ready to go be full go with their starts. Yeah, I mean, again, my main worry is the fastball, kind of like you said, just to reiterate. And I mean, again, but yeah, that half was amazing. It was just a half though.
Again,
you need to really see. Yeah, I'm going to just keep saying again. But yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, we both could be wrong, and who knows? Maybe that fastball really happens to be that great, and we're both completely wrong, and he ends up being a top 5 pitcher next year. It's totally possible. But yeah, I mean, barring from injury risk, he's definitely the one pitcher skill wise I think that could fall at. This
season is a great opportunity for us as analysts to show our whole ass, because all we can do is look at the data and try and figure out what's going to happen over a long period of time. And this season is going to be insane. It's going to be insane. Like, there's going to be stretches. There's going to be guys finishing in the top 10 that we never would have anticipated finishing in the top 10. And I don't even know what this begins to mean for analyzing next year, or what, how we utilize this year for next year's data. But like, you're totally right. Jack Flaherty could end the year with a sub-1 ERA, right? Like, he had that stretch last year. That could totally happen. But yeah, I just, it's crazy, man. It's infuriating.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah. Marty asked a great question. And of course, A+ pronunciation.
Oh, great. Hey, very nice. Pretty good.
We're going to get, I love that. Sorry. We're going to get to Marty's question in a moment, but I do want to give a little pushback. Who's left in that bullpen to relieve these starters? I mean, Gallegos, unknown. Hicks opted out. Carmart, maybe 2 innings. So maybe he piggybacks with them initially, gives them that kind of that bridge to the bullpen. But who do they really have at that point? Half their guys are out. Or opting out. And that's where I'm just thinking, I'm wondering how that's going to affect him. Maybe he does get to throw a little more sooner than we expect.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think they're going to lean, poor Adam Wainwright. They're going to say, hey man, you wanted to come back for 1 year, have fun throwing until your arm falls off. We're going to be able to see what Kwang Hyun Kim is all about. We'll be able to see a little bit more of Daniel Ponce de Leon, maybe a little bit more of Austin Gomber. But yeah, essentially these are the guys you want to like have them make spot starts, you know what I mean? And now like, hey, Kwang Hyun Kim, welcome to the bigs. Like you're throwing as much as you can.
And Richard Sands asked if we do the podcast or we put this up as a podcast. We do. Mike and I both put it on our stream, so it's on SP Streamer or Bases Loaded podcast. We do upload this, so just so he knows that. And Marty wants to know who will be better this year, Bieber or Clevenger. And I'm gonna let you.
We all know, Alex.
Go ahead, Mike.
I know. We all know, Alex. We all know who you're gonna pick. And I'll let you go with your Cy Young Award winner here, man. This is your guy.
Go ahead, Mike. I feel like I'm talking way too much.
Oh, that's the point. I mean,
you're the guest.
But who wants to hear me?
I guess just to kind of go against you. I mean, I do have him ranked higher anyway, which I would go with Bieber just because I think he could go deeper into games, which will be extremely important this year. He had one of the highest pitch counts last year per game. And I mean, he's extremely efficient as well. And, with Clevenger, no doubt in my mind when he's on the mound, he's great. But somewhat of an injury risk. I just think he's a little bit of a riskier pick. And because of that, I have Bieber ahead of him.
I mean, yeah, I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. I think people can totally make that argument. It's a very fine one. And and I'm actually happy you didn't immediately point out like the the hard contact stuff with Bieber. I'm not necessarily into like, hey man, he gave up so much hard contact. He's definitely not going to be as good as he was last year.
He's got elite command, so
yeah, he's got elite command, and I think the people need to the context that's important about hard contact is like, yeah, they made hard contact when they hit it, and they really didn't hit it a lot. You know what I mean? Like, so yes, understandably so. It did get hit pretty hard, but he did a pretty good job commanding it. He had like a pretty big O swing jump last year. Bieber did. His Z swing jumped up and his Z contact dropped. There's a lot in that plate disciplined field. There's a lot there to be excited about. Four seamer scares me a little bit, and that's kind of why I lean Clevenger. I think the foundation is a little bit more solid with Clevenger. That four seam, we saw him hitting 96, right? Sitting 96 at the beginning of the season before his injury. And if he does stay healthy, hey man, let it fly, right? I mean, this is theoretically an important year for Mike Clevenger because we want to baby him a little bit more because I'm a huge Clevenger fan. I was even going to wear the Clevenger jersey tonight, but like he's really starting to fall into that injury risk category. We always knew about the explosive mechanics. And I remember even writing in my notes before his injury happened, like, this will be a big year. Is this a guy who's going to be a perpetual woulda, coulda, shoulda because he's always getting injured each year? Or is he going to be a guy who might be able to click and throw 200 innings of like, sub 3 ERA baseball? I think in this small sample size, the upside is higher in terms of swing strike rate, in terms of K rate overall. But I once again think Mike makes a very valid point about the innings pitched. We could see Bieber make a few more appearances. And to echo your sentiment, Kurland, that bullpen's not great, man. That bullpen is not great.
They're going to, and Francona loves to throw his starters anyway, so I think they're all going to pitch deep into games. Mm-hmm. I mean, we know how he treated Bauer, we know how he treated Bieber. He lets his guys go. Yeah. Francona just seems to have that track record. But with that all said, I want to give my opinion on who's not going to finish in the top 25, and it might be hot takey, but Walker Buehler's out, and it's because it's only
because you think they're going to limit him.
I think they're going to limit him. They already have. I happen to pull up a report just right now. And on Sunday, he threw one simulated inning. Yep. We're 9 days away. He threw one inning. Next, he's slated to throw 2+. What does that mean? 3?
Yeah. They've already said that he's going to be babied a little bit at the beginning. So you're totally right. So
they're babying him at the beginning. Then on top of that, he's come out and said he's a slow starter.
Yeah.
So you put the slow starter tag on him. He limited at the beginning. They have Gonsolin, they have May, they have Stripling if they want to kind of still utilize him as that piggyback type of role. They have these guys that they can baby him with. I am literally like, that's why I'm actually like, I've dropped him down to like 7th or 8th overall in my starting pitcher ranks. He's barely in my top 10. I have Clevenger ahead of him, Bieber ahead of him, guys I think they're going to pitch more innings. Mm-hmm. It becomes between Flaherty and Buehler for me. That's where I have them now. I have them in that, and even Verlander's kind of dropped after I saw the whole. I saw the article from Zimmerman minding the news talking about him messing with his mechanics. I don't want my ace to be messing with his mechanics and seeing what works for him in a shortened season. That could take half the season for him to figure out. Yeah. So this is all just pushing Scherzer back up. Clevenger and Bieber are now in my top 5, and I mean maybe it's a little reactive, but you have to. I feel like you have to be reactive in a 60-game season. You have to call it overreacting. I'm calling it reacting right now. There's no overreacting right now.
You got to go with your gut. I mean, that's what kind of makes the season really more fun, right?
It's kind of a little more fun, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the COVID part, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If it wasn't for the global pandemic, where I don't even know if you can put that many consonants and vowels on the back of a jersey without it bending completely around. I don't even know. I have one Adley Rutschman jersey, but I don't know if I have any.
I gotta get an Asher one.
Yeah, I should get or a Means one. I mean, I imagine I could probably get one for free by now.
What do you think about Means adding some velocity?
All about it, man. Sitting 93, 94, man. You look at that curveball sample size last year, that pitch is a beauty, right? The pitch is a beauty. So if you're telling me that John Means is, 2 ticks of velocity up with a really nice curveball that he's going to integrate into the game, and he already has a changeup for outs. Like I was talking with I hate being that person. I was talking with Dan Straley, and
it's okay to be that person.
Right, we know you guys are like best friends.
I hate to say it, but not that I hate to say it, but it's like you've earned it. You can be that person because you talk to those people. It's okay to name drop. You're not
what a wiener. What a wiener. Seriously, what a wiener. I look at myself in the mirror. I'm going to turn around at the end of this podcast, look in the mirror and say, what a wiener. And he was talking about the tweaks that he had made with his changeup and how that leads to it's funny. We hear tweaks right? And we always think like, okay, I'm going to get more spin rate. I'm going to get more spin efficiency. I'm going to get more break. I'm going to get more movement, whatever it is, right? And what he kind of opened my eyes to that I didn't even think about is he said, it doesn't affect the pitch at all. It makes it more consistent, which I thought was super interesting, right? He made a tweak to his changeup that makes it more consistent. And as a result, he pitched this morning against the LG Twins, and he got 6 or 7 outs off the changeup alone. He's not getting strikeouts on it as much anymore because he's utilizing it as that pitch. And we talked about like, oh man, that like when you have that in your back pocket as a pitcher, when you can trust, I've got a changeup that I'm going to be able to throw and it's going to get an out right now, it gives you so much more confidence in your other pitches. And now that I know that about John Means and he's got an uptick in velocity, hey man, you can get him for free because no one knows who he is and no one wants to get someone from the Baltimore Orioles. So, hey, take it.
My only thing was when I heard the uptick in velocity, does that change his approach? Does he think now, oh, I can overpower people because I gained some velocity? And now you see him throwing, maybe he changes up his pitch mix. Or what if he tries to challenge pitchers when he really shouldn't? Because 93 is still batting practice for a lot of guys. And I'm just wondering, or with the added velocity, does that come with decreased control because he's trying to throw harder? Just all these things popped in my head right away. Trust me, initially, I actually went out and added them places. I put in fat bids. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm excited. Anytime you hear added velocity, it's great. It's usually a good thing. But these are things that went through my head as a guy who's not a fireballer, and maybe just the control, the aspect of maybe him overthrowing kind of popped into my head.
100%. It's an extremely valid point and a great point. And I mean, you think about Matthew Boyd last year, right? All of a sudden he's sitting 92 and then he gets frustrated. He starts throwing 93 a little bit more and he loses his command. He starts giving up a lot more home runs. He has that stretch where he gives up like 30% of his season home runs in like a 7-8 stretch. And he said it himself. I would go into my back pocket because I was frustrated and I would lean on that fastball a little bit more. Right.
Yeah.
I would think that because he's not doing it mid-season and he's had this offseason to kind of finesse it a little bit. Obviously, I would love to see what the results look like, but because they say he's sitting there as opposed to not hitting it, I think he should be more beneficial to do so. Whether that changes his approach, I mean, there's really no way of us knowing until we see him pitch. And it's once again a very, very valid point. I would think because of the increase in velocity, keep in mind it's also a larger separation than between that fastball and that changeup. Yep. So all of a sudden it could be even more effective. And yeah, I mean, and once again, who knows how that curveball is utilized too? I mean, maybe he starts to throw that a little bit more. But you're right. If we see like, this is the long and short of it. Maybe he says if he's 93, 94 and he loses command, he dials it back and he can already throw 92 and command it when he needs to.
And that's what I mean. I was just trying to play devil's advocate.
No, great point.
I'm 100% with you. I actually I bumped Means up. He's now like securely in my top 100 SPs going into the year. Whereas where he was a kind of a fringe guy, kind of for me, was kind of like that 100 to 90 range. Which again, from 90 to like 120, it's just another big blob, or even 80 to 120. So it's like technically he wasn't in my top 100. Now he's like secured in there. And Marty Tallman with another good question of Turnbull or Means. Both free and bad teams. Mike's a Turnbull guy. Which way do you lean, Alex?
If
you had to choose just one, if you had to choose,
Orioles fan, we know where he's going.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I really do like Spencer Turnbull. He's also going to be a Codify client this year, which I think is really going to change his approach to the game. I think that's super important. And he's a smart pitcher, and I believe that a lot of the failures that he had in the second half were as a result of these injuries. I still think it's just a slider, right? And the slider is great. I still think it's just a slider. We've already seen the changeup have success. I've seen larger samples of the curveball having success. They're both terrible teams. I really wouldn't be surprised if Spencer Turnbull finished higher, but I think I'm going to go with Means on this one.
What about you, Mike? Did Alex change your mind, or you just Turnbull all the way?
I got to stick behind Turnbull still. Yeah. He's got that, I just like his arsenal. I mean, he's got a few pitches you go to. That four seems good. He's got a good slider. I feel like his curveball has some good movement to it, so I think it could improve. So yeah, I just think, you know me, I'm a Turnbull lover. So, but yeah, and then kind of like what Mike's point was, we still got to see how Means, how he can utilize that fastball at the new velocity. And I kind of think that the same thing with new pitchers too. Whenever you hear about these new pitches that these pitchers are working on or coming out with, I try not to get too excited because I feel like you got to see, like how they utilize them first. Like just because they're creating a new pitch doesn't mean it's going to be good. And plus usually they got to work on it for a year. So, I mean, I know I'm kind of drifting here, but Just as a side note, I just feel like people need to realize that when you hear someone is developing a new pitch, it doesn't automatically mean that they're taking a step forward.
Well, it's a great point. I mean, everyone got really excited because of Tyler Glass now developing a splitter, and then we saw it in spring training. I think he threw like one, and he was like, nah, it's not great. And we're, people shoot him up. It's like the stock market. That's how fickle the ADP market can be, right? Yeah. If anyone's drafting the day they hear that Tyler Glasnow is adding a splitter, he's a top 30 pitcher, So yeah. I agree.
And this transitions us perfectly to relief pitchers. And I guess as a whole, DMendio2 wants to ask us, what do you all think are the value of multi-inning relievers this year when drafting? And personally, it depends. It really depends on how you create your I'm all about roster construction.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a place. If you went high-end pitchers, I'm more likely to just kind of avoid them because then I can kind of take my high-end pitchers, pair them with my John Means of the world that I know are going to rack up the innings and maybe grab one. But I think there's actual, like, I don't know. I'm big on I can understand. I'm big on it, but I can understand the multi-inning guys like the Corbin Burns potentially and all them because they can kind of grab those cheap wins early in the season. So maybe there's a chance that you grab those cheap wins, the guys that piggyback off the starters, and then dump them for the hot guy off the waiver wire. Because there's going to be, I don't know about you guys, but I know I can speak for myself, just turning and burning that waiver wire. But Mike, what do you think about the middle reliever approach?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like kind of like what you said, depends how you're drafting. I mean, if you need some ratio help, I kind of get it. Or if you want to try and grab some cheap wins, kind of like, going off someone who's piggybacking, which Chris Bassett comes to my mind when it comes to that, like maybe him and Puck or something.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily targeting them personally. But yeah, again, like kind of like Mike said, honestly, that's a good point. If you want to just like turn and burn them consistently, then you could certainly do that. But I'm definitely not like purposely targeting anyone.
Alex, what about you?
Yeah, there's going to be so many questions that are answered in the coming weeks. You know what I mean? There are just certain things that we don't know the answers to quite yet. And so as a result, I don't think you need to necessarily draft any of those guys because we're going to learn things in the first week of games. If you are interested, I mean, the Dodgers are probably your team. Like guys like Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May are going to be good values for you. I saw yesterday that Stephen Brault and Chad Kuhl could be picking back off one another, and Chad Kuhl's got a really fantastic slider that could get him a lot of whiffs. But overall, I mean, like I was watching the Chicago White Sox inter-squad game yesterday, and I think it was a dude. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure his name was Tyler Johnson.
The only guy I think of when I think of the inter-squad games is Edwin, what's his name? The dude that just smacks home runs. I'm just watching that beautiful swing. Oh,
Edwin
man.
Encarnacion?
No. on the Dodgers, I want to say Edwin Rios. I think it's Rios.
Yeah.
I think that's his first name. I could be wrong about the first name, but dude, that swing is pretty, man. If you haven't seen it, I recommend going. I know you guys are pitching guys, but I'm a hitting guy, and that swing, like, there's very, very few things about a hitter you can enjoy, but a nice swing, it's almost like a nice slider for a guy who's into hitters. A nice fluid swing with a one-hand release, like just it's majestic, man.
Yeah,
like
I felt that way watching Yerman Mercedes today, who like literally threw his back out every time he swung. It was so friggin' aggressive. His hands are so quick, and I saw him hit a ball like 500 feet foul. But the guy's name was Tyler Johnson. He came in yesterday and he had some really great sliders. He made everyone's favorite darling Luis Robert look silly with back-to-back sliders away, and who knows, man? All of a sudden, he's the best dude setting up Aaron Bummer, and he's leading the league in holds. We just don't know what's going to happen with these guys. We just don't know.
No, you're 100% correct. And we know you've been between your First Pitch Florida presentation, between your podcast, your article you put out, we are very aware of how you initially attacked saves. I know you kind of talked about it since then, but maybe briefly. I don't want to make you have to go all the way deep into it again, but just how are you attacking saves now that there's way less certainty and way less, like, who knows what the hell's happening?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think before the way that I've kind of evolved is earlier on, I definitely could have understood the argument that you wanted to reach for guys whose jobs were pretty secure over a long term. There were only a select handful of dudes that I was comfortable with people like reaching on. Now, I don't really think there's any single person. I think if you're taking a look at the top bullpens, we're just going to see things be utilized like we've never seen before. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with what's his name? The old closer for the Brewers, who's back now after his Tommy John surgery.
Knebel.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. He could theoretically be back. Maybe they're going to baby him. But the point is that Hader could theoretically return to a fireman role. It's my opinion that if we're in a 60 game, if we're in a 60 game season, man, you want to win every game, right?
Hader's gonna be the Cy Young winner. He's gonna have like 5 wins, 7 saves, and like
my pick as well.
1.5 ERA.
That was literally my Cy Young pick as well. I think it could be a reliever this year for the first time since Eric Gagne or Gagne, whatever.
Gagne
with a spoon.
Sounds like a good time, Alex. Don't tempt me.
So I think we're going to see that a lot. And I think so the people that I'm interested in reaching out to or reaching out for in drafts are guys like Ken Giles who don't have a solid bullpen, right? There's no one, they can't put Ken Giles in the 6th inning because then they're just going to blow it in the 7th and the 8th and the 9th. They don't really have a fantastic bullpen for them to be able to rely on. But guys, theoretically, this could be a good year for Alex Colomé because a lot of people think that Aaron Bummer is going to vulture those saves because I will agree that he theoretically could be the better closer there. He's got some.
I saw your gift
stuff.
today. I saw your gift today. That thing was beautiful.
It was gorgeous, man.
He almost threw it with such like confidence and cockiness too. It was like the way he threw it was like, the way he threw that pitch today looked like hit me, I dare you. Like It was actually really impressive.
100%. So and everyone thinks he's going to take the closer role, and he very well could. But they also have him as a great setup guy.
He's a lefty too.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think those are the guys that I'm a little bit more interested in. I still believe in Hunter Harvey. I really think he could be a nice steal, although he's been kind of creeping up the ADP kind of from what I can see. Listen, the Orioles aren't going to win a lot of games, but they're going to win some games. And that dude is sitting like 96, 97 with his 4-seamer, and it's blowing past guys. So I think that's kind of my take. You don't need to reach. Guys are going to pop up that you never thought about would have popped up. You really don't need to be reaching in the top 100 for your saves, I don't think.
See, I was opposite of that. I was like, oh, let me get one sure thing. And now my sure thing got COVID. Like, unfortunately, he was, I hate to say it that way. It just sounds so insensitive, but Chapman got COVID. And that's when one of my guys, I've been targeting him and Asuna have been all through draft season. Just my one guy, like I would get him and then I would do kind of like, let's play the game at the end of drafts. And with such a short turnover as far as like the trade deadline, that's also less of a sure thing. So I was happy to target a guy that was on a team that wasn't going to trade them and likely going to be a contender and winning a lot of games. Mm-hmm. So although I do think saves are going to be more spread out, that's the problem. They're going to be more spread out. You're going to have 3 guys on a given team getting saves, and it's going to be hard to really pin down the next man up necessarily. And I just wanted the one sure thing. But now it's like, honestly, it's just luck of the draw because you just don't know who's going to stay healthy, who's going to, like right now, COVID's, doing COVID things. And I don't mean to sound insensitive. I just don't know what to do. And that's like, I still want to go with my approach, but it's really aggravating. I actually have a main event I'm in this weekend. With
so
John
Alex,
Fish.
are you afraid of Yates as well because Palmer ends up gone?
Not necessarily. Also because he's a free agent, so they can blow his arm out if they want to and just rely on him as much as possible. I'm staying away from Yates as much as possible in fantasy leagues because I don't. In dynasty leagues because I don't think people realize how old he is. I'm pretty sure he's like old. Yeah, he's always like 32 or 33, maybe even older.
33.
He's like our age and we call him old. It's fantastic.
I know, right? You might as well be dead. He's 33. He's 33 years old, and like, listen, man, coming into what's going to be a wild free agent class, not a lot of people are going to want a 34-year-old closer.
He is 33. He just looked up too.
Yeah.
So would you be comfortable drafting him then?
Depending on where he falls, I think a lot of people are going to push him up because he is Kirby Yates and he had that fantastic year last year. I think if he did fall to a place where I was comfortable taking him in ADP, I think he could be good because they do have Pomerantz, like you said, to take over those 7th, 8th inning roles. It's kind of like the same thing with the White Sox, like I said, and then the Braves, right? Will Smith doesn't need to close games because he's theoretically the best reliever on that team. He can come in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning, be used as a fireman. Mark Melanson's good enough that he should be able to get saves. You know what I mean? If it's a tight 1-inning game coming into the 8th inning, you're using Will Smith, hoping that you get a bigger lead for Mark Melanson to close it out in the 9th. And it'll be the same.
Now, with closures being kind of again like let's play waiver wire, let's have fun with it, let's take a chance, maybe skip on the high end guys. That might make you more interested in stashing guys. Mike, are there any stash candidates that you instantly think, you know what, I don't want to waste a roster spot? I know it's hard to hold a roster spot that long, but maybe a week or two before the trade deadline, you start thinking about stashing guys. Any situations you think that closers are going to get traded out of where you want the next man up, like a Karinchak or something like that?
I mean, I was going to bring up Bummer, actually, in case Colomé got traded. But another one is maybe Rosenthal if Kennedy is traded. I think
Ginkle, if Bradley's traded, comes to mind too.
Yeah. So I mean, any of those guys are definitely plausible. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of movement this year when it comes to the deadline, just because there's only a month left of baseball.
I was going to say, or none, because you might have players.
I mean, maybe if you get like a surprise team that really just wants to make a run for it, they'll just do it. But I mean, yeah, those were two guys that came straight to came to mind when
my wife likes to pop in randomly. And
that's nice.
Well, yeah, but she won't actually come say hi. I try.
But
she makes the shirts. So
those are great.
So it's the new shirt.
Oh, the one I'm wearing.
No, this one's better. It's from Beer, Bourbon, Baseball, Repeat.
There you go.
So that's
my favorite one was the one you guys wore for the Yancey one. I love that one.
Yeah. That's the one. My wife made a little shop and she's selling them, but we'll see what we can do for you, Alex. I would love you to wear one of these shirts.
I'm all about it.
We wanted the Yancey one. He kept telling us no.
Yeah. So, and we also have the glasses, the Beer, Bourbon, Baseball. It's hard to see, but Bourbon,
cool. Yeah, I see that. That's sick.
Yeah, my wife and I got into this hobby of randomly wanting to design things, and she's like, "Well, you have this show." I'm like, "See what happens." And now she's making stuff. We sold our first shirt today. It was actually really exciting.
Mazel tov. That's great.
I will definitely wear. How'd you know I was Jewish?
Are you Jewish?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, so am I. You and me both.
Ooh. Have a nagila. Okay. All right. Anyway, where's the chair? All right, so we kind of talked a little about everything, and obviously we try to keep it an hour. We appreciate your time, but we saw what Yancey did on PitchCon, so we had him ask us questions last episode, and we loved the idea of it. It was so much fun. So Alex, I did tell you can kind of do the same thing for us on the way out. Wasn't sure how many questions you brought. Don't know. This is gonna be fun, so we're kind of letting you be the host now. I know you're comfortable in that situation. So Alex, you got the mic. The floor is yours, buddy.
We'll start with you, Curlin. What's a song that's always stuck in your head?
Oh, we talked about. I think we talked about this on the poker game that I hate music or whatever. But like I'm not a music guy. But it has to be. It's usually something. If it's anything, it's either a kid song for one of my kids, like in the back, because I have 3 of them, and it's always like Baby Shark was for a long time. But as far as personal taste goes, again, I don't listen to a lot of music these days, so it's a lot of Eminem stuff. Eminem and DMX. It's weird. Like I Am from Eminem. I Am, wherever you say it.
Yeah.
That song. Or Stan from Eminem. Those are like, I know like that's like early 2000s stuff, but that's the stuff to this day that will pop into my head randomly because that's kind of what I listen to. I've never really been, again, I'm not a huge music guy. I know you are. I know Mike is, and I'm sorry, it's just not we talked about this. I'm a downer, man. I just don't do music. I'm sorry.
Curland, are you a big music guy?
No, just make sure. I wasn't sure if I put it out there enough. I don't know if I said it enough. I'm just not a huge music guy.
Michael, what about you?
I would say "Somebody to Love" by Queen.
Oh, really? That song's just like always in your head?
Yeah, probably because that's like one of my favorite songs of all time.
Really?
Don't know why. It just is. Love that song.
What about you, Alex? Oh, I'm supposed to ask you this stuff, but
okay. Yeah, I won't answer.
Keep us all in the dark there.
No, if you want me to answer it, for some reason it's Untitled by D'Angelo. That song is in my head all the time.
Literally no idea what song.
Untitled, How Does It Feel? It's called Untitled, How Does It Feel? That song is in my head just all the time. Is there a piece of art, book, film, play, whatever, that impacted you most?
Oh man, that's tough.
You're asking like deep questions.
Yeah, and I've never been like, I won't lie to you. It's not like I'm proud of it. I actually, as I've gotten older, I enjoy arts. I enjoy musicals. And the one that I watched not so long ago, and I was like looking back at it, and I was like, wow, this is kind of like a deeper musical, was Rent. I really enjoyed it, actually.
Great.
I was like, holy crap. It's like, 90s, and I think it was 90s that it took place in, and the AIDS thing and all that kind of like sensitive topics.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this actually isn't bad at all. And I was like, holy crap, this is and I was like, as you get older, you kind of develop taste for these things. And I was like, it's kind of the one that stuck with me. I was like, oh wow, I've watched it multiple times since, to be honest. I was like, huh, this is interesting.
It's great. Yeah. It's a great musical.
Mike, anything? And you just watched Hamilton, dude.
I don't want to say my answer because it's like super. I feel like it's kind of weird.
It's okay to be weird. We're all weird.
For some reason,
fantasy baseball is what made us friends.
My wife always makes fun of me because she says I have literally no emotions. Like I never cry at anything or any of that stuff. For some reason, the only thing that's ever moved me, basically in my entire life, is Les Miserables.
Is Les Mis?
I don't know why, but it's just like I don't know that play slash I'm made movies just get to me.
Man, that's very interesting. Have you tried that book?
I have not.
Don't. God, you'll never get anything done. It's like 800 pages.
Now I know.
It's absolutely huge. When was tell me the first time, we'll start with you, Michael, I guess. Is that how you guys do it? Because it's Mike and Mike.
Simeon Curlin.
I said Mike and I have to actually start just using last names because it's Mike and Mike. And Mike's gone, so we should do Mike and Mike these days, but it's not original. Either is this. So
MSMK. Okay.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah. I think you mean S&M.
Yes. I know what I said, Alex.
Simeon, tell us about the first time you told your wife you said I love you.
Okay. It's not that great of a story.
Fine. Okay.
So we were both still in college in our last year, and I don't know. We walked out of our dorm. We went to like this random bench, and we were just sitting there. And I said it absolutely terribly. I was like, "So I think I kind of love you." And that was the first time I said it.
Is she around?
Is she around?
Yeah.
She's 2 flights up.
She's 2. Oh wow, sick humble brag, bro.
I know. Meanwhhile, I'm in my 1,000 square foot apartment with 2 kids and a wife. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I can't be anywhere in my apartment and not see my wife.
And I'm sure if I said something, she probably wouldn't come anyway.
Oh really?
Yeah, my wife won't come on camera. I've tried to. And my wife walks in the room, throws me a T-shirt. She's like within like about 15 feet of me, and she won't come over here and say hi.
I mean, I could text her and see if she'll come down.
Text her and see if she'll come down for me, please.
All right.
Mike, what about you?
I did it like I was 20 years old and did it over the phone. Like I told her over the phone. So like not
over the phone.
Terrible. I know. Not romantic at all. Like it's okay though. She married me.
What both of you do you remember? What was your wedding song?
Mine was "Marry Me" by Train because it was right when it came out, and we actually met because it's it goes. If I ever get the nerve to say hello in this cafe, we actually met at Rainforest Cafe while I was a waitress and she was a hostess.
God, so you say that name, and I like am transported back the smells and the sounds of a Rainforest Cafe.
I worked there. I was a waiter there for 3 years, and I got fired because I punched a hole in the wall. Oh. And that'll do it. I was like in my
You shouldn't hurt the rainforests.
They're no regrets, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife just popped in.
Stop talking about me. Can Alexis, if you are there, I know you don't like to come on this, please. But if you would do me this favor of coming on very briefly, I would greatly appreciate it. Mike, do you remember Michael? Michael. Do you remember your wedding song?
Yeah, Still Fallen by Hunter Hayes.
Still Fallen by, is that like a country artist?
Yeah.
Still Fallen.
She's a big country person.
She's a big country person. So I guess sorry, New Girl is on. You don't have DVR nowadays?
No, my wife's watching it on Netflix. Even worse. Like she can totally stop it.
Can pop it. Alexis, all right. I'm not going to make you feel uncomfortable. You can 100% not come on. That's totally
And
fine.
Marty, of course, laughing at me because I punched a hole in the wall. It's such a classic server thing. Among other things, they're very classic server things, including like inappropriate stuff. Yes, punching a hole in the wall is not the most creative way to get fired, but
it's true.
It's okay.
You are. We'll do the desert island.
Ooh.
And there are 3 video games. You have a magic console that can play any video game from any console. Okay, and there are 3 video games that you need to bring to this island from any console. Simeon looks wholly unprepared, so we're gonna start. That's a tough one. So we're gonna start with you. Is your wife coming down or no?
I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess my wife.
Scream the word coward.
I'm in my pajamas.
Oh, okay, great.
I text her saying please, and she's please come, please, all caps, and that's all I got. I'm giving it my all.
Yancey says, "Whoa, you're still going." Yes, Yancey, I'm doing my best Yancey impression. Mike, so let's start with you, Carlin. The 3 video games from any console that you're bringing on this desert island.
There is one catch. Am I by myself on this? Because desert island usually means you're by yourself. So.
Great. Yep. You are totally by yourself.
Because that actually ruins GoldenEye for me. Because GoldenEye was like such a fun game with 2 people. So I'm thinking games are gonna last a while. Like I want Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect. Okay. Loved that game. The Witcher 3, another great open world game to kind of keep you busy for a long time, and then Fallout. I love the open world games. I love the idea of your choices affect the ending. Those are all things I really enjoy about games because it kind of makes you feel like you are part of the game, and that's why those three instantly came to mind. As I know they're more newer games, but those are games that, again, that just they'll keep you busy for a long time, and everything matters. Every choice you make matters.
Great,
Mike. So it'd be Super Mario 64, Super Smash Brothers. Have to have Super Smash Brothers, and then I don't know if you guys Dota 2.
Of course, yeah, I know Dota too. Yeah, of course I know. Dota.
Oh, my wife's here. Do you want to talk?
Hey, amazing. Yes,
I
do.
I have to. I'm not even gonna hear what you're saying.
Don't want to talk to you anymore.
Good. Isn't good. You know what? Hold on.
What's your name?
Hold on.
What's your wife's name?
Okay. All right, it's Brittany.
Oh, great.
Hi,
Brittany.
Mrs. SP Streamer.
Your dog mother shirt.
Thank you.
I
and
absolutely love it. My friend just got me a shirt that just says "I have a dog," and I try and wear it as much as possible because we just got one. So
one of my favorite shirts.
It's a great shirt, and I'm actually sad the dog has not made an appearance on the podcast yet. That's
he's around.
Oh no, he makes his appearances plenty.
He barks. Yeah,
okay.
We
hear him plenty.
So I brought you down, and I thank you for obliging me. I know it's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and you were relaxing. We just had Michael tell us about the very first time he told you he loved you, and I wanted to get your perspective if it was as vanilla as he says he thinks it was.
No, I mean I was definitely caught off guard, but
oh great.
But I felt the same way, so it worked.
Were you in the situation where you were like I know my wife was like, I wasn't saying it until you were saying it. I felt it, but I wasn't saying it until you were saying it. Did you feel that way too?
Oh, absolutely.
She would never say it for
no.
So what was the reasoning behind that? You were like, if you wanted, you better say this first. Like it's your job to do the commitment thing, or what was it that made you want him? He had to say it first. Why was that?
I honestly just wanted to make sure he felt the same way as me, and he wasn't just saying it because I said it.
Yes, very smart. See, this is why women are much smarter than us. Women are much smarter than us. Do you remember your wedding song?
Yes.
What was it?
It's Still Fallen by Hunter Hayes.
Still Fallen by Hunter Hayes. And what went into the choice of that song?
I just love country, and I wanted a song that not everyone heard of, and I heard it the first time on the highway, and I fell in love with it, and I said, this is the perfect song for us.
Perfect. And then the last thing, and then I'll let you go because I've already taken up too much of your time here. Okay. Mike, what was the very... okay, great. We're going to do one round question of the newlywed game. Okay. How long have you guys been married?
It's going to be 2 years in August.
Oh, it'll actually be 2 years for us in July. That's very fun.
Really? Wow.
Are you guys in Jersey?
New York.
You're in New York. So do you know what the Manor is?
What?
In West Orange, New Jersey?
No.
Oh, okay, because that's where we got married, and it seems like you guys would be familiar with that place because it's just a wild place. The last question I have for you: what is the one piece of art, book, movie, or play that impacts Mike the most? That has impacted him the most in his life?
No chance she knows this.
Really?
One art movie.
I'll give you a hint. It's
no. No hint.
That is actually really hard.
It's hard.
Here it comes.
So hard.
Tell him what you think.
Yeah, why is it hard?
What?
Tell him what you think about him emotionally.
Oh, he's like a robot. I'm not kidding. We have been together as a couple. It's going to be 9 years in October.
Wow.
And
I'm sorry.
Cry.
Never once?
Never. So he's a robot.
I guess we've never seen his drafts. That's when he cries after he drafts his team. That was a terrible joke. All right,
I appreciate it.
Let's thank you. Let's try and that was you have very good drafts. I don't even know why I said that. So what do you think it is? What do you think it is? 9 years, never cried, but what is the one thing that has impacted him the most?
I don't know. That's so hard.
She's gonna have no idea.
I have no idea.
Any shot in the dark? Any player movie? Anything?
I feel like it'd be like a sports movie or something.
Okay. All right. All right. So you'll guess us.
I'm so bad at this.
No. It's okay. It's totally okay.
I drink every night. I drink every night because I can't guess answers right either. So don't feel bad.
It was shocking, and it was actually quite beautiful. Why don't you tell her what the one piece of art that has impacted you the most was?
Les Miserables.
Oh yeah,
Kinda
you definitely
She won't. I keep telling her to see it. She won't even see it.
That one time he teared up 3 years ago.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
August
I
evening.
wasn't around. He cried in the basement by himself.
It really makes that huge French flag he has tattooed on his back make a lot more sense.
There you go.
There it is.
Boy.
Say
It's a
hi.
family affair. Meanwhile, my wife just said "screw you" and left me out to dry.
Oh yeah, my wife would say the same thing right now if I tried to get her on this podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm sorry to have made you come down 2 flights of stairs.
Yeah, because Mike humbly bragged about the size of the
Hi,
house.
nice to meet you.
Bye.
Nice
Thanks,
meeting you.
Brett.
You're welcome. Come on out.
Well, there's that, Mike. That was awesome. That was fun.
Yeah.
And you showed us all up because I can't. My wife walked in, said, "What do you want?" I begged her. I muted my mic.
I saw
Begged her. I was waving her over. She wouldn't come. I was like, I gave up. So
I'm actually pretty surprised she came on, but
that she seems very awesome.
she's better than you.
oh yeah, 100 times better than me.
That's the first time I've met her, and you talk to me all the time. Like
She's
I'm actually
had somewhat interest in has told me to teach her how to do fantasy.
do it.
I know. I told her that.
Well, we have a mentorship program.
There it is.
That would be a perfect opportunity for her.
And wait a minute. Wait. Isn't this guy a mentor?
Yes, he is.
I told her
Boom.
to do it.
There's no kissing the teacher here. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to kiss the teacher. Sadly, here. Well, those are all my questions. That was a lot of fun. I can't believe we got your wife to come down. That's great.
Yeah, no, that is so. Oh wait. Last one. Nancy asks, "When do I get my mentor signed to me?"
When I was gonna make. I'll do my best, Nancy. I'm gonna text him a joke, but I'll do my best.
And of course, Yancey, man, I cry all the time. Of course. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. All right, well, I guess on that note, man, Alex, thank you so much for joining us. This was a blast. And Mike, your wife made the show perfectly ended. Alex, remind everybody where they can find you, what you do, and you're everywhere. You're on ESPN. Everyone knows who you are.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You can find me on Twitter at AlexFast8. Next Tuesday, I'll finally have my top 100 pitchers come out. And in the meantime, spread that word about that mentorship program if you can, if you know people who are interested. And also, hey man, get your friends into fantasy baseball. It's a short season, man. This is the perfect time to get your friends who have ever been interested in a fantasy sport into fantasy baseball. Get them in. It'll be great.
All right. And of course, you can follow Mike on Twitter at SPStreamer, myself at Mike_Curland. And as always, we just truly appreciate you all listening. Baseball is here-ish. Stay tuned for everything baseball with all of us, and we'll talk to you soon, guys.
Later.